Hey guys, so today was MOPEX. Tough day of trading on MOPEX. Probably one of the worst, just technical based and movement days that I've seen all year, honestly. So what we're going to do today on TA, we're going to do it a little differently. Generally, I put all my supplies and demands and patterns in before, for the most part, before we start talking. But today we're going to do it live-ish. So basically, as we're doing this, I'm going to put the new levels in so you guys can kind of see them play out live in front of you. So today we did get a new demand. It's off of yesterday's candle body low, just right there. So that's 436.2. So what we had today is we did not quite get to our target of the 100 EMA. We are in our extreme bear channel still, and we did not quite get back to previous demand. So with a new demand, which is support, being put in and closing over it, our target is then the next upside level, whether that's a demand or it's a supply. So right now, that's going to be 438.1. That's our ultimate target. If we can break out over that target here at 438.1, then realistically my big target is a back test, like I said before, of the 50 EMA. It's unlikely, just like this, that we just break through it without some sort of chop. I would not be surprised to see us kind of chop in this range back around the 50 EMA. Even if, well, depending on how big of a green day we get Monday, we likely are going to see an 8 and 50 EMA bearish cross under. Going over to the weekly here, so we obviously broke through our very long-term bull channel. So now we actually, are, as you can see here, are in a bear channel. Clicked over, there we go. So we're going to have this as our new potential downside channel. So what we did this week is we didn't quite break under 432.5, which is the weekly 20 EMA, but we did close below the weekly 8 EMA at 443.5. This is the first time since March 20th that we have closed below the weekly 8 EMA. Favor does go to a slight back test of the 8 EMA before we go down, but going into next week, the bears would love a close under the 8 or the 20 EMA, and the bulls would love a close back over the 8 EMA. A close back over the 8 EMA, especially a double bottom here, would give me favor of a bigger move back up. However, if we hang out in this bear channel right here, then we're going to likely come back down. And if we lose this 20 EMA, likely our target is the weekly 50 EMA, which is right around 419.1. Now, when we take a look at futures here, similar movement here. However, we also, and there we go. I don't know why. Sometimes I just hate how TradingView likes to flip back and forth from your settings. But there we go. This is my settings. This looks much cleaner. So here we go. So we got a new demand, and not only a new demand, but we got a new double bottom. So I very much so am favoring an upside move next week on futures, at least for Monday, maybe Tuesday. We did, however, on futures come all the way down and touch the daily 50 EMA support. This gives us a really strong potential to move back up to this previous demand of 44.37. That would give us a retest of the 50 and 8 EMA, which has bearishly crossed under. Looking at the weekly here, we did not get a new demand or a new supply, but we did come through and close below 43.90 and 44.36. We are under the 8 EMA, same thing for the first time since March. So basically at this point, the bears are going to need to get us under 43.54 next week, which is the weekly 20 EMA. And the bulls need to get us back over 44.57, which is the weekly 8 EMA. From here, as you can see, we are in this really nice new bear channel. So we're going to keep an eye on this and see if we can hold in this channel and continue to drop lower. We did break our bull channel that dates back all the way to February on futures. So this support being broken, our next major support, if you zoom out here on this red line, goes back to October and the March lows. That gives us, in the next 2 to 3 weeks, a move potentially down to about 4,200. That would be our target. Now, as we look at the Qs here, this one had an even more technical based, I would say, important day. So what we have here on the Qs is we came down and we finally hit my target of this 355.2 supply and of 357 supply. So these are officially taken out. Now, what also happened is here, we put a new demand in here at 358.55, which, because we were lower, actually takes it out, the previous demand out. So this is what our daily on the Qs look like now. Now, this is where things get interesting, and the Qs is much different than SPY and futures. Why? Because on the Qs daily, we actually closed imbalanced. So what I mean by that, and I've talked about this before, but when you put a new demand, which is a support in, you should close over that level. When you put a new supply in, that's a resistance, you should close under that level. Here on the Qs, you can see we put this demand in at 358.36 and we closed at 358.13. There's only two ways to settle an imbalance daily like this. The first way is that we drop tomorrow or Monday and we will turn this demand into supply. Or we can close back over the demand. If we close over the demand in that sense, like I said on SPY, we're going to target about 364, which is our 8 and 50 EMAs. Otherwise, we're looking once again at 350.6, which is our daily 50 EMA. As we go over here to the Qs weekly, we already broke through this bull channel last week. So here my line got moved just a little bit here, but as you can see, we came down and we did take out this weekly supply right there. And now, much like on SPY and futures, we are sitting between the 8 and 20 EMA. We are still holding our bull channel on the Qs for the weekly. That goes back to middle to beginning of December. So for here, the bears are going to need to close us under this blue channel support line and preferably below 352.2, which is the weekly 20 EMA support. However, if the bulls can take us higher, then we're going to look to get back over the weekly 8 EMA, which is right here at 365.6. So same thing, we're just kind of sandwiched here, and one way or the other, we should get a decent move next week. Now, looking at the VIX here, same thing, we're going to do this live here. So I was mentioning we had this big red bull channel. So what we did today, though, we actually put in a new supply up here at 17.93. We did not come quite low enough to take out our 17.1 supply, but with futures and SPY and really the Qs putting a new demand in and the VIX putting a supply in, our favor should 100% go to a bullish day on Monday. Those technicals are aligning perfectly for that. The VIX is lining up to come back down to about 16.5 to retest its daily 8 EMA support. You can see we've been holding that really nicely. If it can bounce off that, then we're going to look for a bigger move up into the 19s and 20s. If the VIX dumps through the 8 and 20, then honestly, this probably was our temporary bottom on SPY and the futures and Qs, and we're looking to start going up higher next week. I hope you guys had a good day trading this week, and I will see you guys next week.